Every morning, before the sun fully cleared the iron gates, Daniel stepped into the community, carrying nothing but his tools and his patience. The guard scanned his badge slowly, then scanned it again, as if repetition might reveal something new. Daniel never questioned it, because he understood that doubt lived longer than explanations. As he walked forward, the sound of doors closing followed him like a shadow. A woman paused mid-step while watering her plants, and watched him until he passed. A man unlocking his car hesitated, glanced at Daniel, and locked it again without getting in. Conversations lowered themselves, then vanished completely. This place called itself safe, but safety here was built on fear rather than trust. The streets were perfect, the lawns trimmed with precision, and the houses stood like silent witnesses. Cameras watched every corner, yet no one seemed to see him. Safety in this community came from walls, codes, and locked doors. Trust was something no one seemed willing to practice. Daniel worked maintenance, the kind of job people only noticed when something broke. He repaired lights, fixed fences, and cleaned what others preferred not to touch. His uniform was faded but always clean, pressed carefully every morning. Dignity, he believed, was something you carried even when no one acknowledged it. He greeted people softly, even when they did not look back at him. He kept his movements slow, his posture relaxed, and his eyes steady. Not because he was afraid, but because he had learned how easily presence could be misunderstood. In T's plays, being careful felt like a requirement for survival. Parents pulled their children closer when Daniel walked by. Smiles were tight, nods were forced, and hands hovered near door locks. The sound of metal clicking shut spoke louder than any insult ever could. Daniel noticed everything, even as he pretended not to. At the far end of the street stood a small house with pale blue shutters beneath an old oak tree. Its paint was worn, its porch modest, and its presence gentle. Unlike the others, its door did not close immediately when Daniel approached. Sometimes, it stayed open entirely. At first, Daniel assumed it was a mistake or forgetfulness. Then it happened again and again until he realized it was intentional. One morning, before he could turn away, a warm voice reached him from inside. "Good morning," the woman said, without hesitation or fear. Her name was Mrs. Evelyn Carter, and she spoke with the calm certainty of someone who had seen enough of the world. Her silver hair was neatly tied, and her eyes carried no suspicion. She asked Daniel his name and listened fully when he answered. The next day, she remembered it, and that mattered more than she knew. Whenever Daniel worked nearby, she offered him water or tea, not as charity, and not out of obligation, but as simple human courtesy. She never studied him, never questioned him, never kept her distance. For Daniel, that quiet acceptance felt unfamiliar and deeply grounding. Their conversations were small and unimportant to anyone else. They spoke about the weather, the oak tree, and how time seemed to move faster each year. Sometimes, they sat in silence, and it felt safe rather than awkward. Mrs. Carter never asked questions that demanded justification. Inside her house, nothing felt hidden or guarded. Photographs rested openly on shelves, dusted and cherished. Memories lived where anyone could see them, without locks or barriers. Daniel noticed how the house felt lived in rather than protected. He fixed small things for her without needing to be asked. A loose handle, a flickering light, a window that refused to close properly. She thanked him every time, as if kindness required acknowledgement. When he left, her door stayed open just a little longer than necessary. The community noticed, of course. Eyes lingered longer. Whispers followed him more closely. Someone once asked Mrs. Carter if she felt safe. She smiled gently and said she did, and that was all she offered. Weeks passed without change, and the routine settled into something steady. Daniel worked and Mrs. Carter waited with tea and quiet conversation. It felt like a small island of peace inside a guarded world. Then one morning, the routine broke. Mrs. Carter's door did not open that day. The shutters stayed closed, and the house felt unusually still. Daniel felt the absence before he understood it. Concern settled in his chest like a weight. He knocked once and waited. He knocked again, louder this time, listening for movement. There was no answer from inside. By the afternoon, an ambulance arrived, and the street grew silent. Mrs. Carter had passed peacefully in her sleep. The news spread quickly, carried on lowered voices and cautious glances. Some residents expressed sadness with polite words. Others allowed suspicion to fill the quiet space she left behind. Daniel felt the loss deeply, though he did not show it. The street felt colder, emptier, heavier without her presence. Her door stayed closed now, permanently. Even the oak tree seemed to stand still. Questions began to surface soon after. Why was Daniel there so often? And why did she trust him so easily? Fear searched for meaning and found an easy target. Suspicion always prefers convenience. Security asked Daniel to come in for questioning. Their tone was controlled, but their eyes revealed their conclusions. Daniel answered calmly, without defensiveness or anger. He left the room unchanged, though something inside him felt tired. The funeral was small and quiet. Daniel stood at the back, unseen and uninvited, yet unwilling to stay away. No one asked him to come forward, and no one told him to leave. He bowed his head when her name was spoken. Days later, the community gathered for the reading of Mrs. Carter's will. The hall was full, but the air felt heavy and uneasy. When Daniel's name was read aloud, surprise rippled through the room. A letter was unfolded carefully. Her handwriting was gentle, deliberate, and unmistakably clear. She wrote about her life, her loneliness, and what she had observed. She spoke of fear disguised as caution and kindness mistaken for weakness. Then she wrote about Daniel. She described the man who fixed her lights and treated her with dignity. She spoke of the peace she felt when he was near. She asked why he was feared when he had done nothing but show respect. The question hung in the air, unanswered. The room fell silent. Some residents lowered their eyes. Others shifted uncomfortably. Truth does not shout, but it makes itself impossible to ignore. Mrs. Carter's words did exactly that. She left Daniel a small inheritance, not large enough to impress, but meaningful enough to matter. It was not payment, but acknowledgement. More than money, it was a final act of trust, a message that could not be locked away. Some people cried openly. Others remained still, unsure how to respond. A few felt exposed in ways walls and gates could not protect. Daniel stood quietly, accepting without triumph. He did not speak or smile. He did not justify himself or seek approval. He remained exactly who he had always been. It was the community that had changed. After that day, some doors began to open sooner. Not all of them, but more than before. Apologies came slowly, if they came at all. Daniel accepted them with the same calm grace he carried every day. He continued his work as always, walking the same paths in the same uniform. When he passed the oak tree, he paused for a brief moment. The pale blue door remained closed, but its memory stayed open. The community learned something uncomfortable through her absence. Walls could protect homes, but not hearts. Fear could lock doors, but kindness revealed truth. And one open heart had exposed many that had long been closed.